Hey card fighters, it's Gleaming Garmor here with a match that I had on area today against the Dark Dictator. So I decided to play a premium Agravain deck where I was going to use Tempest Sphere in combination with Night of Daylight Canarius to extend my attacks on the Agravain turn. Meanwhile, I run into this MLB player, and he's baffling, okay? He wins the coin flip. I tell him good luck, have fun. He ends his turn. He does not ride to grade 1. He just ends his turn in attempts to get first stride. So I ride Gareth and draw into the grade 3 Agravain. I feel much more secure now knowing that I have my grade 3. And I attack with Gareth. And I check a heal after he no guards, which is the only trigger I see for the whole game. He makes a snide remark about, like, oh, a vanilla, you're using Zazen, how dare you say good luck, have fun. And then he rides into Marin a turn too late and calls down Wingull Brave. And at this point, I have to consider, I could guard this with the Elixir Sommelier, but instead, I take it and I allow him to add one card off of Wingull Brave because I need Counterblast to make sure that he cannot gain Twin Drive from Blaster Dark next turn. So yeah, I think about it for a little bit, I no guard, and then he crits me. And I check Canarius Bowmains. He checks top 7 and adds MLB. So at this point, I have valuable information. I know that he's not going to be grade stuck because his grade 3 ride has just been assured. I ride Canarius because it's the only rear guard I have that doesn't do anything right now. So I ride Canarius. I call Kaiden and Hole so that Kaiden's going to get plus 10, and I'm going to call a card and draw a card. And he says to me, even vanilla Bowmains, someone doesn't want a superior ride. I'm not even playing Ezel, bro. Today I'm playing Agravain. My starter is Spring Breeze Messenger. So we go into the battle phase, and I attack with Bowmains first because it's just a solid 10. He uses his Quick Shield to defend against it, and then I swing with my Vanguard. He could easily play either the Scent Flare Draco Kid or the Elaine to stop this attack, and he chooses not to. So he gets hit, and then I come in with Kaiden for 27, and he guards with an Elaine. Okay. He stands and draws. He draws Light and Darkness Intersect. By the way, I didn't talk enough about his initial mulligan. He had both Star Call and Light and Darkness in his hand, and he put them back. He put everything but the Marin back, and then didn't ride grade 1 anyway. He plays the order card to search Blaster Dark, or Blaster Blade, and he's attacking with Blaster Dark. I have nothing to gain from him hitting me at this point, so I just guard with a heal trigger, and he's no passing me. You'll notice that he didn't use any of his Counterblast to retire one of my many rear guards. This will be his undoing because I don't have to commit nearly as many cards to try and kill him now. I Counterblast 1 to play Tempest Sphere, and then I search out a vanilla heal and a Bowmains and add them to my hand. So with that, I've secured G-Guard cost for his first stride turn, and I've secured an additional rear guard to attack with. And he starts questioning because I called down Hole. He doesn't understand how Hole works. He thinks that Hole is he thinks it's like an auto ability. When your other unit is placed, it gains 10k. Which is not the case. Hole is a continuous ability. For those of you who aren't familiar, continuous rear guard, when your other unit in the same column as this unit that was placed there this turn, your other unit that is in the same column as this unit that was placed there this turn gets 5,000 power. If Advance of the Black Chains Kaiden is on your Vanguard or Rearguard circle, it gets power plus 10,000 instead of 5,000. So, I have Kaiden on Rearguard. Agravain was placed this turn. Agravain gains plus 10. He's not listening to my explanation, so I do just continue to play. I did explain how it works. I did explain that, I explained after this that Hole is a continuous ability and not an auto ability. and that it doesn't activate on place. It's just active all the time because it's a continuous ability. And he simply replies with, whatever. We'll see what happens. Spoiler alert. What happens is that he loses. So we attack with Aggravating first because I wanted to be threatening. And we check no triggers, so the threat level immediately falls. We attack with Bowmains on the rear guard into the Vanguard. We know that if he checks a trigger, the 15 Bowmains won't hit, so we attack with it first. Then we attack for 20, he takes it, and then we attack for 27, and he drops another lane. He has all of these cards in hand, and he chooses to guard none of these attacks. He goes to 5 damage before his first stride. Places his force marker onto the rearguard circle where he's going to call the Blaster Blade. Pays ultimate stride cost to go into Crystal Luster Dragon. And then calls Dark, 2 Floral Paladins, and a Blaster Blade. Big mistake, by the way. He attacks with Blaster Blade or with Blaster Dark, boosted by Flogel. And I think, okay, if I take 3 damage, then I can just G-Guard. I can just G-Guard. And then Ultima him on my next turn because I'm holding on to 2 Aggravains right now. I can even reride for an Excel marker and then Ultima. I think about intercepting with Kaiden. I realize that's a mistake because the holes need the extra power, and I intercept with Bowmains instead. By the way, in Premium, if you slap a hole behind your Vanguard, every time you stride, your Vanguard will gain plus 10. So I no-guard the Crystal Luster Dragon because he does not have the additional crit on account of not having Blaster Blade in the soul. He checks his 3 drives, and then checks a 4th drive anyway, even though he doesn't have Blaster Blade. So I then explain to him, hey, you don't have Blaster Blade in soul. And he says, GG. I say, you don't have an extra drive. And then he says, GG. He is not intending to interact with me in any way, shape, or form. And I say, there's no Blaster Blade in your soul. And he says, I'm still scooping. GG. So I say, okay, GG. And here's where the problem arises. He declares that his loss was due to RNG. And that I won by luck. The rest of this video speaks for itself. We've already gone through this fight and pointed out a lot of his misplays. But let's also talk about the fact that he got incredibly greedy. He had 6 cards in hand and decided to call down 4 of them and expects to kill me when I'm on 2 damage. That's not how it works, bud. You're not going to get there. I don't care if you're going to get... I don't care if this Blaster Blade is going to swing a couple of times. I'm just going to check damage triggers. I'm just going to G-Guard. I'm just going to drop cards from hand. Always remember, Vanguard is a game that ultimately is determined by what you do with the cards you're dealt. It doesn't matter what cards you get if you don't play them well. This has been Gleaming Garmor, and I'll see you guys some other time.